Okay. All right. Well, so thank you guys, everyone, again for being here tonight. This is my Success Over Struggle panel, and it started back in 2018 when I launched Social Connect Phoenix as a little dive bar that's not even around anymore in Scottsdale. But I wanted to bring entrepreneurs and business professionals to a stage in front of a live audience and be able to interview them about their story. I'm such a big storyteller. I think that we all relate through stories. And I just want all of you, because I know a lot of you are entrepreneurs, you're just getting started, or you just are like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. These are the people that can guide you. These are the people who have been through it all. Hence, success over struggle. It's not about the struggle. It's about you keep going. You keep moving forward. And we all have stories. So make sure that you ask. Make sure you connect with us and just learn from the people in the room, because we're all in your community. And we're all here to support you as well. So I'm going to start with our introductions. And we kind of played switcheroo here because AJ's like, ladies first. But secretly, he's like, no, we want someone else to go first. So how many of you out in the audience know this lovely woman? This is Corina Burton. She is with CBR Cleaning and Unstoppable Media. Hello. So Corina, if you are on LinkedIn, which that's where I met her, and she is amazing, but she shares so many stories about being a mom and working in the construction industry and being like in the top 4%. There's 4% of women that work in the construction industry. So just trying to break into the industry was definitely not an easy task, I would say.
So it's actually, there's only 4% of women who own service-based companies in the construction industry, and I'm among the 4%. There is 11% women who work in the construction industry, and I'm among the 11%. So being able to be someone who is paving the way for other women, but also being a minority and a woman in a industry that is getting used to the way that I do things. It's quite fun, I won't lie.
All right. Well, I have a question for every single one of them, and it's really around the topic of resilience. And how many of you have had to put your resilience pants on? Anyone in the audience? Yes, everybody, resilience. Resilience, I think we all experience that even with COVID. It's the bounce back. It's like, what am I going to do with this? So my question for each of you on the panel is, we've heard about this word. Can you share a time in your entrepreneurial journey where your resilience kicked in?
That's actually a really great question, because to be honest, that's been a series of times throughout my entire entrepreneurial journey. But to specifically specify for CPR Construction Cleaning, I actually started it just a couple months before COVID. And it's a service-based company, so we have to go in person and be there in person. And just a couple months later, the pandemic hit. And, in person became a very big struggle. And not only did I have this brand new business, I needed to figure out how to make sales that's not in person and do a job that's in person. So I had to get really creative and really innovative. And to be honest, to be resilient through that time, that is what has catapulted me into the success story that I have today. Do you want me to talk about that?
You can't leave us hanging, Corina.
Well,
success. That's it.
Yeah, success. That's the theme here. So for specifically what, for me, which was an eye-opener, of course, like at that moment when I was like, are you kidding me? The whole world is basically shutting down. How am I supposed to provide for my family and continue with my business for it to thrive? For about a month, I was terrified, to be honest. And I'm like, what am I going to do? My entire background is in business development. It's building relationships with people. I had no experience of how to create an online opportunity, creating a brand that would be recognizable and embraced by the community I had no clue how to do that. But I had no other choice. So doing something in the construction industry where people were not posting and talking about the things I was talking about, it definitely created a wave of curiosity. So, you know, during this time when I was having to have all these moments of growth and struggle and fear was when I was able to really discover who I was and what I was capable of doing. So through those processes, I was able to grow my company into a 7-figure business in a year and a half, all through using online strategies of creating a brand presence. Remember, this is all a service-based company. This is not an online where people then buy your service, a coaching program or a book, something that's not tangible, which is what we are used to doing. When you buy something online, it's something tangible in that case. It's a product or an item. This is a service. I completely grew an entire company into multi-7-figure business because I leaned into those ideals of what am I going to do? How am I going to change my circumstances? And how am I going to share my story? And that's what I did through LinkedIn. And, you know, that's how Tisha has met me. I don't want to keep going on because I could. I really can. I can talk about this for a long time. So I want to allow you to ask another question.
I will just say follow her on LinkedIn. If you haven't, she has such amazing posts, and they're just full of depth. It's not just like, have a great day, nice post. It's none of that. Like, she really goes deep, and she talks a lot about her journey. So thank you, Corina, for being here and sharing that. And yes, we're not done with you yet. All right, AJ, how about you? And I know AJ's story a little bit too, Mr. Serial Killer. That's what he has on his name tag for his Halloween costume. Cereal, like cereal? Like what you eat with milk? Yes. So AJ, same question for you. When has resilience kicked in for you? And I know there's been a lot of times, but can you name one where you're like, not today, struggle?
I guess it's recovering from being hit head on by a drunk driver during the day. I fight resilience. Well, I go through resilience every day, and people don't know it. You know, most people want like the materialistic things out of life. I know where I've been, and each day that I'm able to open my eyes, I'm grateful. You know, and it's just like my body aches from it. I still have effects from it, but I just got to keep going. You know, I've never been one to quit, and just got to keep going.
I love that word, resilience. This town is littered with my glorious fuck-ups. And I mean that. I spent 20 years here experimenting with finding my way to genuine happiness. Because happiness isn't about what you do, it's about really who you are. And I mean, here's the 4 big ones. I achieved a 7-figure net worth twice in 20 years. I had 2 marriages in 20 years, and when I landed in Hawaii 10 years ago, I had none of that. The only common denominator was me. So as I began to ask myself why for 20 years I loved that word resilience, sitting on a beach moping by myself, 2 little kids reminded me of what resilience was all about when they came up to me and said, "Hey, mister, do you want to play?" Now, if you've had kids or been around kids, you got to be all but dead to say anything but, yeah, sure. And so I said, sure. And what I noticed when I was done was we danced with the waves. We built something they seemed to think was a sandcastle. Their parents apologized. I said, no, really, you don't know what this has done. I went back to my villa on the North Shore of Oahu, and I immediately opened my notepad and I said, I've spent the last 2 months, my first 2 months in Hawaii, moping, depressed, lacking direction, characteristics that in no way had defined me in my past. And in 20 minutes, those two kids took my energy from 0 to hero. And that's when I understood that what resilience is all about is mental pliability and emotional elasticity. And as you'll hear in the remainder of my comments, there is no better way to get there than through returning to your natural state of being, which is play.
All right, and I want to introduce, so we have AJ Campbell. You guys know him with LuBelle Entertainment, our DJ. He has so many other things that he does. Check out the shirt again. My mom saw it and she's like, I want one. I want that shirt. And then Steve Rick. So Steve comes all the way from Hawaii. And so he just got off the plane today and he's like, Tisha, I can't smell the ocean anymore. It's like, you can smell the smelly lakes that we have in Arizona. So Steve and I actually met at a House of Genius event. He actually just gave me a really cool compliment because when we met, okay, I'll just tell you, I am a little directionally challenged. The day that I met him, I actually drove down the wrong ramp. I was going down the wrong side of the ramp, the exit ramp in downtown Phoenix, because I was following someone. I had immediately get back out, and then I got to this House of Genius event, and he is the only person that I've actually stayed connected to because we had such a great bond. But he's like, you were such a light. I'm like, really? I was a hot mess. I was like, this was insane. I was sweating bullets. Yeah, so thank you so much, Steve, for coming out all the way from Hawaii. So cool to have you in the audience. Yeah, we're all sitting in a suitcase. We're all sitting in a suitcase. All right, so, I always love that question of what would you tell yourself if you had the chance to? And I want to start with you, Corina. Like, what are some words of wisdom that you'd be like, little Corina, if only you knew what it was going to be like? What would you say to that person? Or what would you say to our audience? What are some words of wisdom that you would share?
I actually love this question because it does come up more than I think we think about, right? Especially if you're, when you have opportunities like this. So the thing that I would tell myself is, honestly, what I try to teach my daughters. I have 4 daughters and I have a son, so I teach them all, but it's to trust your intuition. You know so much more than you give yourself credit, and that your intuition is going to be your greatest superpower that you will ever even understand. And you're given a gift of intuition and guidance, and you have the ability to even make really great decisions, even when you feel like you don't really know much about the topic or situation. So that's what I would tell myself, because that's a lesson I had to learn over and over and over until I was like, all right, I give up. I'm freaking listening to my intuition. So that's my key thing for my kids and to myself.
What was the question? What would I tell my
yourself as your younger self?
Oh, what would I tell myself if I was younger?
Yeah.
First of all, adulting, 1 star. Do not recommend it at all. Honestly, I don't know, because at a young age, I knew what I wanted out of life. And everybody comes and asks me, oh, is this your full-time job? I'm like, yes, I enjoy what I do. At a young age, I knew I wanted to be a Marine, went to boot camp, now I'm a Marine veteran, wanted to be a DJ, wanted to own my own business. I'm doing that, so I guess, yeah, the only thing, adulting, do not recommend it.
I think that's a great question as well. And in this town that I spent 20 years in, and I think all of you would agree with this, I would, as quickly as you can, get as real honest as you can with yourself, because this town is characterized by facades. Everywhere you look, it's impressed upon you to be a certain way, to look a certain way, to show up a certain way. And by the way, I love the story of the phoenix rising from the ashes. But that means it had to burn first. So there may be a burn you have to experience, like I did the 20 years I was here. I didn't rise from the ashes till I left. But I find great joy in letting you know I'm human and that I've screwed up a lot in my life. Because the truth is, most of us have. But yeah, find a community that you can be raw, real with, and ask for help. I'll share this when we answer the last question, but my passion is becoming the solution to the global mental health crisis that I know exists right here in this room. Why do I know it? Because you live in a town where it's not cool to talk about your shit, right? So if that felt a little aggressive and sandpaperish, that was the intent.
It was indeed.
So what kind of sandpaper was that? Was that a light or?
Get the point.
I know. I like that. If that felt a little sandpaperish to you, then it was meant to be. All right, okay. And last question. I want to give every one of them, just for sake of time too, a little bit of a shameless plug, how you reach out to Corina, AJ, and Steve, and what they're working on, because these three individuals are just doing a lot of fun stuff. And I know Corina's got something in the works too. So we're going to end it up with shameless plug time. Corina?
Shameless plug. That sounds so dirty, right? Like I'm supposed to give you something really good. But I will give you something really good. So my shameless plug is, I have been able to not only grow a awesome company that's a franchise, it's a national franchise company, but I also started a media company called Unstoppable Media, and it's really based off of this large community that I grew on LinkedIn. To be able to inspire people, give them the tools necessary for them to be their most unstoppable selves. And now we're bringing it into an in-person event. It's going to be held on November 5th at the Forum. It's a mastermind event with some amazing epic speakers. I am the host, but I will be speaking and dropping some branding knowledge on how you can improve not only your companies, but your professions. And also, how do you integrate your personal brand into your businesses as well, in your profession, daily life. So that's, okay. And how you find me. So if you use Instagram, you can find me Unstoppable with Corina, because that is my podcast, Unstoppable with Corina Burton. You can find me on LinkedIn, Corina Burton. That's how you can find me. I know I'm like so generic, but that is me. So if anyone has questions, though, about my event, come up to me. I do have some flyers that can give you guys more information.
Shameless plug.
Get dirty.
Get dirty. Well, I am a DJ. You can find me on all over social media. You can find me at Bourbon Jack's either Friday or Saturday night right here in Chandler. I own my own entertainment company. I recently just started my own design company, graphic designs. I do flyers, decals, if you've noticed my Jeep out there, all kinds of stuff that have to do with graphics, logos. I think I've done a couple of logos for friends. I'm all over social media at LuBelle Entertainment, at DJ Effect, at Misconstrued Designs. You might see me out in town at an event. I'm just all over the place. I'm currently working on an event venue that's hoping to open it next fall. So, yeah, it's mine, my own.
I'm sorry, I'm a little partial to events because I know it's great.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. So thank you guys.
So I'm the founder and chief experience officer of a company called Playlab, where our single mission is to create playful, happy humans everywhere, which means we got a lot of work to do if you look at the world at large. However, this past weekend, we launched an initiative called the Swing into Mental Health Challenge. Now, I don't recommend what I did as mentally healthy, but I broke a Guinness Book of World Records on Saturday and Sunday and swang consecutively on a swing for 36 hours and 5 minutes. And what made that event so interesting is we had over 80 guest speakers that I interviewed on a split screen from as far away as Dubai and India and the Philippines and Africa. And we talked about one thing: what is happening in the corporate world to address mental health? And the answer was nothing. So then we talked about a second thing, is what are you doing to support your own mental health? And much to my pleasure, the answer was always the same. We are integrating a regular utilization of play into our lives. And if you never ever see me again, you never remember anything, please get curious about the transformative nature of play. Many of you have learned discipline, you've learned business skills, you've learned discernment, you've acquired knowledge, but you were born, batteries included, at birth with the ability to play. Play creates mental pliability. It creates connective tissue and community. It creates psychological safety, the ability to pivot, perfect self-expression. Need I go on? 2 asks from you tonight. 1 supports this group. Go to playsavestheday.com. Use the promo code TM30, Tisha Marie 30. You'll get the recent book I released, and a portion of those proceeds goes to the charity of her choice. But the real big ask, even if you don't like reading, it's only 70 pages, you should read it. It'll help you, I promise. But here's the real big ask. This weekend's event was to kick off a social media challenge, which was much like the ice bucket challenge, but you don't have to throw ice on yourself. We want you to take a picture of yourself doing something fun, tag 3 people, and ask them hashtag swing into the mental health challenge. Our hope is by the first of the year, we will have created something very special. So if you didn't do anything else tonight, I came all the way from Hawaii after having swung on a swing for 36 hours. Am I appealing to you yet? Just make a post, would you?
Wait, you said 36 hours?
36 hours and 5 minutes.
Jeez. Wow. Swing. Like, you know, on a swing. No, swing, you know, like back and forth.
Yeah. I got to know what it felt like when you got off.
And I was only, 10 minutes of that interview process, and he was swinging while we were trying to do a live stream. So I just want to give a big thank you to our Success Over Struggle panelists, Corina, AJ, and Steve. Make sure you connect with these amazing folks. And thank you so much for the shameless plugs and all of your event information and such. But thank you guys so much. I have some little gifts for you. I have a couple of little shameless plugs as well, since I have the mic. So some of you guys know, in between social connects, we always do connecting through community events. If you haven't been able to figure that out through this event, I love supporting our local nonprofits. So how many of you guys want to come to a period packing party? Nina, I know Maria. Guys, where are your hands? Yes, Zach. Okay. So a period packing party. So I learned this, and I know we've supported a similar cause before. If you remember, James, you brought feminine products to an event. So, yes. Yeah, a period packing party. So a period packing party, there's an organization, I met them actually through Local First Arizona as well, and Women for Women in Tempe, they're retired women, and they're like, we don't want to be retired, we actually want to keep going, and we want to keep working, and we want to serve the community. So they have period packing parties, and I've set one up for November 13th here in Chandler area. I will bring the donuts. I will make the coffee. I just need hands. I need hands to put period packs together. So, feminine. Oh my! It's stuff that's going to get done. It is. You guys don't realize there is a huge need of women in our own community that just do not have the resources to even have. They don't have the means to, have the period feminine products every month. So if I can. Heck yeah, men. Come on, men. So So I will be putting some information about that November 13th. Kids are welcome. It's really a simple exercise. It's like get an assembly line, put these things together, and go support the community and the women and the young girls that need it. So November 13th. And then I know Melina's here. So I know you guys are like, when's the next Social Connect? Well, the next Social Connect will most likely be in January. But Melina Shaw, if you guys know her, she's running around. We are bringing back an event called the Holiday Hullabaloo. I started this event about 5 years ago, and it was a pajama party celebrating the holidays. So it's not business, it's not this, it's really just come, bring your peeps, get dressed in pajamas, and just come hang with us. We're going to do more holiday festivity type stuff. It'll be back at Courthouse. We're looking at December 7th in the evening. Yes, you are. You're DJing. You can wear a onesie. All right. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much. I know we're a couple minutes past time, but just thanks so much for being here at Social Connect. Hang for a bit, and we'll see you guys in the new year, or at the period packing party, or at Holiday Hullabaloo. Thanks, guys.